Welcome to this Saturday's edition of Boomer's Banquet. And today, it's very special
Ba't ang
since
lungkot
we're
mo?
umpisa pa lang, yun ang malungkot.
Parang, tapos may naka-face mask pa rin sa tabi.
Hindi ka ba magwe-welding? Bakit wala yung ano mo? Yung guard. Anyway, I'm George, Bob, and Teddy. We're here, Boomer's Banquet, special edition, no? And we have several special guests today. Grabe, no? Walang magagawa itong mga to kundi magpatawa. Ang hindi tumawa, kuwi daw kayo. Pag hindi kayo tumawa, magkakaroon second episode to next week.
Threat? Is that a threat?
So we're talking about the number one radio station in the 80s, WKC, no? And Bob, ikaw muna. Bumati ka rin naman.
Magandang umaga. Oh, hello everybody. Depende sa oras kung nasan man kayo sa mundo. If you recall, in the 80s, merong stasyon na ayaw nyong aminin na gusto nyong pakinggan, pero pinapakinggan nyo rin anyway. Ito yung mga nagpupumilit magpatawa kahit hindi nakakatawa yung iba. Okay lang. Kasi everybody was bananas over the station starting at 1985. And we'll be talking to some of the personalities behind WKC 93.9. Ted? Ano ba yan?
Angat buhay! Magandang umaga. Welcome to DWKZ. Ano ba yung call number nila ng DWKZ?
93.9.
93.9.
Oo.
Okay. Tama si Bob at saka si George. Kahit ayaw aminin ng iba. Kahit hindi sila maglipat sa DWKC. Kaso sa jeep, sa kapitbahay, maririnig, malakas pa ang sounds.
Oo. Actually, that was a time nung 80s. I was teaching at Assumption, no. Alam mo mga babae doon, mga social, di ba? And I was teaching radio broadcasting, and then so sabi ko, the number one radio station is WKC. Yak! Nagaganyan, yak! Tapos they started telling the jokes of WKC. Yak kayo nang yak eh. Alam niyo yung mga jokes. That's how popular they are. So without further ado,
Yan na naman kami.
let's call the wacky DJs of WKC. Ayan, si Hill. Hill, kumusta ka na?
Okay, good.
Good.
Howdy, everyone. Howdy doody. Good to be here. Hi, George, Bob, and Teddy. Nice to join you on a Saturday.
Okay, sino susunod na natin? Kabwisitan. Ayun. Si Super. Papaganda ako ng boses this is Super Mitch.
Teka muna, nag-aalmusal pa yan. Mitch, hindi kita madinig, naka-mute ka.
Naka-mute ka.
Kasi
Sa mo to, no?
Good morning.
Voice over, hindi marunong mag-unmute ng microphone. Sus, Mario Josep.
Kasi soft na ngayon, di ba, you have to click on the screen. Hassle, what we do is, di ba, old school, switch, di ba, on the pinaka-left side.
Toggle switch.
Di ba, sa atin nun, so switch on the left side, mic 1. P for on air and A for audition. Ngayon, you have to click and then you have to look at it. Hey, good morning. Hello, everybody. Glad to know you're all tuned in.
Gaya ng sabi ko nga, no, if you don't laugh at their jokes, we're gonna have an episode 2, whether you like it or not.
Kaya parang awa nyo. Huwag kayong tumawa.
Yun. Eto na. Okay, sino to? Mr. Rivera. Rudolph Rivera, the Smile Liberation.
Pero nawala ako. Nakakanta bigla mag-go-off, magkaano. I had to start all over again, go back to Safari, paste. So kanina puro you're backstage, only the host can see you.
Some people can do that in 2 seconds.
Rudy, where's Bobby Ante?
Rudolph, are you bragging or complaining? Oo eh.
Akala ko si Bobby.
Rudy,
Are we on already?
say hello first to everyone. People
Hello,
are
everybody.
watching you. Yun.
We're live already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we going to get paid for this?
Langya ito, payola ka. Tawagan mo
Old
si
school
JC.
ka talaga.
For the love of
Talent fee ba to?
for friends and the love of.
Hi guys.
Ayun,
Hi
no?
everybody.
Tapos yung isa, ayaw magpakita ng mukha eh. Bob, okay ka lang?
Si
Still in the
Bobby
bathroom.
Ante.
Okay lang ako. Okay.
Bobby.
Ba't nakamute yung
Okay
camera mo?
okay ako.
Si Batman is still in the bathroom.
Hindi naka-mute. Yung telepono ko walang camera yata eh. Low-tech.
Sa Sabalat mo binili yan.
Analog ba yan, Bob?
Oh,
Balat.
Sabalat to. X-Deal yung Sabalat kay RJ.
Baka Uniwide pa yan. Uniwide warehouse.
Uniwide. Oh, Uniwide. Kapalit ng tela.
Say good morning, Bobby.
How can they watch on
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning sa inyo, good morning.
Alam mo ang pinakamaganda
Morning,
niyan?
everybody.
Bob Novales, lagyan mo ng picture si Bobby, yung picture ni Mike Rodriguez para ano.
If Mike is tuned in, hello, good morning,
Wag.
Mike.
Wag, baka may insulto si Mike. Kayo naman, no? Baka may insulto si Mike.
Actually, speaking of Mike Enriquez, he's one of the, kumbaga ano, in the words of my dad, kapural. Kapural siya ng KC, no? Siya yung isa sa mga nagpasimuno doon kasama itong mga siraulo nandito ngayon. Kaya naging WKC. We'll try to recall what happened, ganyan, ang storya, at bakit wala silang ginawa kundi magpatawa na lang sa ere instead of coming up with music, no? So marami pang ano. Ano yun? Ano
May
yun?
music na naman nun ah.
Ang naalala ko lang si Happy Louie ba yon?
Si Cholo.
O si Cholo. Walang ginawa yan kung paano hindi ba yung ano inaalala ka ni Ray Valera? Ano yata 5 taon yata tinutugtog ng ano yan, ano mga DJs na yan, no? Pagmula BL hanggang KC, si Cholo board na yata, sinasabayan na sa ano, kinakantahan na rin. Sinasabayan si Ray Valera.
Ang laki ng bayad sa kanya. Umabot hanggang KC.
Akala ko pa naman may hugot lang.
may advance pa lang.
Those of us who migrated from BL to
KC.
KC,
KC,
Bob.
Willie, KC.
Yeah, to KC, were Bob,
Rudolph.
Rudolph, me, and Reggie.
Cholo.
And Cholo.
Yeah.
Kami anim. Sabay-sabay kami lahat lumipat sa ano sa KC noon at that time.
At ano bang nangyari? If you can tell us the story, what prompted your move to total matagal na yun eh. That's 40 years ago. So pwede na siguro makapagkwentuhan tungkol doon eh. What
Actually,
unless nanggagalaiti pa yung mga dating amo nyo.
personally, I was with FBS, with Taveras for 10 years sa BL at saka sa Double L. They were both number 1 on AM and number 1 on FM.
Oh.
And we begged the owners to purchase another FM station so that we can migrate, because at the time there was a shift from AM to FM.
Mm-hmm.
So we waited for a while. They never did anything until we had an attractive offer that we couldn't refuse. We all migrated to FM to RMN na, yung RMN. And then after we moved, that's when they purchased another station. It became WTM, and then they bought several more. But that's all past. So kami yung nag-umpisa ng KC. It was us also who thought of the name, di ba? KC.
Oo.
Saan
Bakit
galing
KC?
Kay Kanoy.
Wala.
Kay Kanoy?
Yung KC.
Ang unang...
Hindi.
KC. Ano eh. Sige ba?
Ayun, kay Kanoy ang stasyon, di ba? KC.
Ano lang yun? Wala. It just sounded better.
Yeah.
Alam mo, wala kaming kaplano-plano sa gagawin namin. Basta board lang tayo. Walang plano to.
Ang nasa isip ko nun, Bob, wow, pumapasok yung balik.
Ano yun?
12-second delay.
Oo.
Sinishare ko sana eh. Sinishare ko eh.
Kaya pala, ikaw na naman pala kawatan eh. ang notion ko nun, nakala ko nun kasi baby pa yung Casey na anak ni Sharon Cuneta. So akala ko related dun yun.
Seryoso?
Wala.
Yeah, I thought all the while na kaya ganun. Dahil syempre Sharon, masang-masa, diba? So si Casey Concepcion was the thing.
Hindi pa
Ayun
siya
na, si
pinapanganak yata.
General.
Uy, si General. Oh. Bakit ganyan yung itsura ng General? Ba't di naka-uniforme yan?
Nasa barracks pa. Ano pa? Naka-face yun.
Uy,
Ayun po.
bagong laba yung t-shirt mo ah.
20 years ago.
General, naririnig ba kami? General.
Yeah.
Ba? WKC, GCS, high school.
Uy, galing ah.
Okay yan ah.
Kasya pa kanya, di ba?
Mas maganda, can you quit doing silent movies and say hello to us?
Can you hear us, Drew? Andy?
Salita ka, Andy.
Isa pang voice-over announcer yan na hindi marunong gumamit ng microphone.
Mariosip talaga. Anak ng pating, oh.
Oh, si Rudy na wala na naman.
Si Rudolph in and out.
Oh, baka may chicks.
May chicks.
Si Bobby naman naka-mute.
Oh, there's
Ayun.
Rudy.
Ayan. Si Rudy, pasensya na kayo, si Rudy every 10 minutes i-reset yung telepono para.
Si Bobby naman, naghahanap ng telepono na hindi analog.
Can you hear me?
Diyos ko! Okay.
Andy?
Wala na.
Overmod.
Overmod ka. Gumamit ka ng processor. Wala ka ba si RL dyan? O Optimod?
Para ka lang nagbo-voice tape galing Saudi eh.
Oh. Say good morning, Andy.
Good morning, George. Good morning, Teddy. Good morning, Bob.
Morning.
And good jokers.
Howdy, Andy. Good to see you again.
Hey.
So where are you broadcasting from? Home or Zambales?
I'm in Quezon City right now.
Oh, okay.
Made sure that we were home for this one.
Very nice, no? Welcome to the show. Mitch, ikaw naman, how did you get involved with these guys here?
Well, I was when I started in at least in Philcomsen. Nandun ako sa kabilang stasyon sa 15th floor. Philcomsen, di ba? That's where most of the...
So what station?
WSM.
I was at WSM. So 15th floor rin yun, pero paglabas mo ng elevator, turn right. Di ba? Sila yung turn left. And then Casey had 75% of the floor at that time. I was just lucky enough that at some point, was that, 90 na yun, di ba? 89 natin, 88, 89, that they were in the market, they're looking for an additional guy, an additional jacket Casey. So, buti na lang, nakasabay ko sa elevator si Bob at saka si Jan. And, that's where everything came, fell into place. So it's the elevator, man. It's the elevator.
Yeah, and of course, you saw that the guys in Casey were much happier. They were always smiling as soon as they got out of the elevator, right?
Oh yeah, even before I joined the team, we were really hats off to those guys. I was training when I trained, my very first radio station was RT, and then I was trainee pa lang noon. As a trainee, we'd really look up to the guys at KC. Remember, George, Bob, Terry, in those days, everything was analog, di ba? Everything was, there was no way that you could synchronize digital sound bites digitally kasi wala pa yung technology. And then you listen to these guys on the air. I was in school when I first listened to these guys, diba? I actually didn't like them because I couldn't study. I was a senior, 86. I was a senior in high school. And then
Walang hiya ka, walang hiya ka, Mitch. Ngayon mo lang sinabi yan. Sana hindi ka na namin kinuha.
Alam mo kasi nakakainis, di ba? Mag-aaral. Tapos sasabihin ng kaibigan, pare, pakinggan mo itong mga to. And then all of these jokes would come in, hindi ka tuloy makapag-aral dahil sa talagang, di ba, mayat-maya yung joke dadating, mayat-maya. It was such a fun place to be. Di ba? Especially in the 80s. It was such a fun place to be. Hindi ka na makakonsentrate sa pag-aaral mo, di ba? Nakikinig ka na lang sa jokes. And then you'd say, hit me one more, give me another joke, Parang ganyan. So it was really looking up to these guys talaga from the very beginning. Kasi even the way that they do the program, Willie and Bob, for example, and Happy Louie when they go on air, hindi lang sila solo, sila yung may character pa sila, di ba? May second or may third talent in the booth. And then when they do their spiel or their dance or whatever they talk about in the morning, pag bitaw nung call sign, I can imagine the amount of skill, the amount of talent, the amount of professionalism that these guys had even before digital, di ba? So it's truly impressive. So when they said, why don't you try to sige, kaya ko kaya. It was really a scary thing. And this is the funniest thing. I remember asking my best friend because when I got so lucky, I got invited. I hope I make the cut. I hope I make the grade. And one of the greatest things I had to learn was how to laugh on cue.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi di ba, the rest of these guys, when they started laughing, it was so infectious, di ba?
Yeah,
pero
si Vivi, grabe yan, tumawa eh. Di ba?
Grabe, and liban pa yan sa sound effects, di ba? And all of that. So my best friend and I had a little game when I started off at KC. I said, whenever we're together, anytime and every time that you snap your fingers, I have to laugh. And when I do laugh, it has to sound authentic. It has to sound natural. It's one of those things that you have to learn to be part of the crazy gang, diba? So talagang imagine yung amount of respect, and then finally kumbaga ideal nga. What some people used to ask, what did you want to be when I was younger? What do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a DJ. I want to fly an airplane. But I can't fly an airplane because I'm colorblind. So DJ na lang tayo.
Okay. You came from LS, right?
Yes.
So how did you get into KC?
Yeah, I started with LS. I trained under Jimmy Jam. So sabay kami pumasok ng LS. Tapos sabi niya sa akin, during the 9-month training na walang bayad,
Ganun talaga naman.
Sorry, nag-board yung walang bayad eh.
That never happened at KC.
Sabi niya sa akin, and then before the 9-month training was up, si Fred James sabi, we won't hire you. So, that was the biggest joke. So sabi ni Jimmy Jam, go for KC. Sabi mo, bakit KC? Basta, go for KC. So,
Ayaw mo rin kasi kinakahiya mo rin.
Papi,
Tapos he said one word. Money. Okay, sige. I mean, so pero before I got into KC, dumaan muna ako ng 2 weeks sa RK, sa W Rock, where I met Brian. Si Bombay, Brian Panty.
Si Brian Panty.
At that time.
Brian Panty.
He was training me for 2 weeks, and then he said he's leaving to go to KC. Sabi ko, nang gagawin, magbebenta ka ng payong. Then, mag-board daw siya. Ayun, so...
hindi na politically correct yung ganyan joke.
Yung araw, okay lang yan eh.
Sorry. 90s eh, 90s eh.
Pag hindi,
Ayun, so,
pag hindi ka magpakabait, huliin ka ng Bombay.
so anyway, so si Brian ang connection ko. And then he said, may audition. So, gawa ka ng demo tape based on KC. So, first time kong makinig ulit sa KC after like, after it started, I started listening in 85 eh. Tapos, mga 90s, hindi na. So, 91 again, I started listening. Gumawa akong demo tape. Ayun. So, after that, sinabi lang sa akin ni Brian, oh, come here. They want to interview you. They want to talk to you. So, yung buhok ko, hanggang dito, mahaba pa. Ayun, tapos sabi ni Brian, they want to hire you but you have to cut your hair. Hanggang talaga?
Si Mike may gusto nun.
Okay. Ano ko joke lang eh.
Good time yung good time.
Good time. And then,
Andy.
ay, Bob. Yes, Bobby.
Magkano porsyento ni Brian sa sweldo mo?
Wala, pero kung ano yung binibenta niyang gamit, binibili ko na lang para binili ko yung studio niya, binili ko yung ano ba yung crackpot, ano man? Basta may binenta siyang crackpot. Yan.
Pagdating sa iyo crackpot pala, no? Si Archie.
Kumot ka binenta. Kumot.
Nawala si Jen.
Nawala si
Nawala si
Andy.
General. Baka blinak ni Brian.
Ano yan for tasteless humor?
Rudy, pwede ba kumilos ka naman ng konti?
Kaway, Rudy.
Kanina ka patahimik eh. Yan, kaway.
Okay, so
Andy, ginawa mo yung mic.
Hindi yung...
Si Rudy na.
Okay, so ayun.
Si Rudy parang fashion model lang.
Nakikinig na ako sa kanila eh. So I knew Rudolph Rivera, Hillbilly Willie, everyone. Yun, so when I started working with them, parang it's like I already knew them. Yun. But they were not very old, not much older than me. So parang feeling ko sobrang tandaan.
Dito to, matanda talaga sila sa'yo.
So how many months training were you given without pay?
Sa LS
yun eh.
9 months. Sa KC, sa KC, as soon as I got on board, and they knew I was in it, they knew they wanted to get me kasi I remember playing a 7-minute Ted Ito song tapos pinutol ko after 3 minutes. Tapos sabi ni Mitch, oy, marunong na.
Ano sabi mo?
Marunong na daw ako. Pagputol ng song. So,
Ayun.
anyway, yun.
No, first time I saw your radio station, sabi ko siya, state of the art, di ba? Yung facing the audience eh. Hindi dati. Paano dati kasi face the wall eh. Ang mga DJ eh, di ba? And then all of a sudden kayo, it was so spacious, may sofa pa and everything. So I was really very impressed with
It was a huge booth that made listeners most welcome.
Precisely, no.
They would hang around. They would hang around. A lot of them would hang around the whole day.
Grabe, no?
And it was, the concept was the DJ was a performer in front of an audience who is inside the booth. Parang
galing eh.
And it became the blueprint for some other FM stations that followed.
You know, this is so funny, no? Yung sinasabi, pardon the expression, no? KC, bakya yan, baduy yan, ganyan, no? But for those who are tuned in right now who never got to listen to KC before, the trick there was bakit nila nakuha pati A, B, upper C? It was because they were speaking in straight English. There was only one time you spoke in Tagalog, that was Independence Day.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Initially.
Araw ng kalayaan. Araw ng ano?
Araw ng kalokohan.
Kalokohan.
No? But otherwise, yun na nga yun no? These DJs spoke, well, flawless English, no? And then they were able to capture a really broad spectrum of the market. And that's really very impressive, no? Kaya nga sabi ko doon sa one of our teasers, unstoppable ang KC that time, no? Mitch.
Alam mo, George,
Yeah, Bobby.
George, alam mo, during that time, we weren't conscious about our voice. We were not, di ba, karamihan nun, modulated, pagandahan ng boss. Kami, just be yourself.
TZMB, disc jockeys. Di ba? Mga ganun.
Kami, we had we just did our thing, natural, taglish kung pwede. Wala, we were just having fun talaga.
Yeah.
Si Mitch nga, ganda-ganda ng boses. Napapangit eh.
Pinagalitan ako. When I started, I used to modulate. Di ba when you modulate a few notes down, di ba? Hello everybody, hi, ganyan. When I started at KC, pinagalitan ako, sabi, hey, change your natural tone, bring it higher. I said, higher? Not lower? Okay.
So, mas masikip na yung brief na suot mo. Ganun yun.
Oh, yeah.
What brief? What brief?
No, Drew? Ano, Andrew?
Let it
What
hang.
brief
No,
are you talking about?
Commando.
Pare,
Commando.
nawawala ulit si Rudy. Nawala na si Rudy.
No, here's a little
Milagro yun
anecdote.
eh.
When I
But
started,
here's a point.
Si Willie.
Yung, alimbawa, there are a lot of upscale stations now. For example, TM. And they talk Tagalog, sometimes straight Tagalog. They banter in Tagalog, but they're still branded as upscale.
Yeah.
But they never get the C and D.
Yeah.
They don't get the C and D. But, you know, one of the quirks of radio. It's all in the mind. It's nasa listener yun eh.
And sa akin nga yung every time I write an article or whatever, talk about radio, yun ang inaano ko no? Yung KC is what you might call an enigma and a phenomenon. I don't think it could be duplicated. No, nobody could understand how it happened, why it happened, but it happened. Yun ang doon maganda doon di ba?
The thing is, you can't really explain WKC in a paragraph. Marami kang ikikwento talaga doon. At saka everything fell into place nung panahon na yun. I think everyone was looking for something that would be sugary sweet na talagang devil may care kahit na suntok sa buwan, bahala na kung tumawa ka o hindi. Ayan, yun ang tingin ko.
Tukayong Bob.
Ay,
Alam mo,
Bobby.
Tukayo?
Yeah, sige.
The secret, we were just having fun.
That really permeated on air. Yung talagang fun It was fun. You want to have fun, you have a problem, you're driving, go to KC, and matatawa ka na lang no? Minsan sa kakornihan, matatawa ka pa rin Yan na. Magkakaat na
we were having fun initially. We were having fun initially, but after that, we were looking for funds.
Hindi ba dumating agad, Bobby?
Hindi.
Hindi ba dumating agad yun, yung success, yung funds? At least hindi nyo naramdaman agad?
Hindi.
We did.
Naramdaman namin yun, lahat.
Oh, yeah.
Kasi
so, puro funds na pala kayo.
Kasi lahat ng nandun sa sa AM, BL, carried over sa amin
syempre. Pati nga yung mga kantang tinutugtog nyo kinary over nyo, di ba? You light up my life.
By the way, we were also doubling as salespeople.
Yes.
Okay.
We sold our stations.
So we also got commissions. We were selling our stations. At least some of us. Si Willie, ako, si Rudolph, si Happy Louie.
Solo.
Reggie.
Yeah. So we would after our respective shows, we would go to the advertising agencies and service the agencies. You can just imagine tuwang-tuwa sila kasi nakikita nila yung mga naririnig nila sa radyo.
Fans no? You're Hillbilly Willie?
There was
Why?
Seriously, Seriously, there was even a time, one of us, I won't mention the name, papasok sa ad agency, meron ba kayong BO para sa amin? Yun ang tanong, hindi ganun siya mag-service.
Broadcast.
Wala, bye-bye. Pick up BOs lang kami noon. That was the day.
Because we were rating them.
Talagang,
Those are the days.
BO is broadcast order, no?
Yeah,
Broadcast
orders. Oh.
the body order.
For those who are unfamiliar, that translates into the commercials. Those are that's how the station makes the money. And then we had something like, how many stop sets do you have in an hour? 6 ba yan?
Stop set? Oh, tapos you had 18 minutes of commercials eh.
Yeah.
18? Hindi ah.
15 lang yata.
18 tapos 23 songs to play per hour, di ba?
So we had a lot. We had to be creative.
The recording companies were forgiving.
Yeah.
No, we had to be creative in how to squeeze everything in, di ba? I mean,
And mix, Mitch, right?
Yeah.
Mix.
Yeah,
Right, Mitch?
Yeah.
Mix.
Yep.
George.
Mixing the songs.
Yeah.
+6 on the speed of the record.
Yeah.
George.
Wala, +2 lang kami.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah.
When we were servicing the agencies, the media buyers were just too happy to be with us, partying with us, instead of the other way around, inviting them to party with us. They would love to be with us. So you can just imagine the kind of advertising revenues. Andali magbenta noon.
Yun na nga eh. No? Can you imagine?
Hindi na kailangan lumigaw po.
Still on the subject of funds, okay? Kami lang ang nakakapunta abroad several times with our wives, fully paid.
Yeah. Reward yun sa inyo, di ba?
Bonus.
Aming pera yun.
Ay, yung sa inyo.
Our funds.
Oo. Meron kaming funds na si Bobby ang promotor nito eh.
No, but
Siyang ways and means namin eh.
But that evolved. Remember, Willie, that
meron namang konti. May konting naman yung management. After they saw that we were traveling using our own funds. Parang, oops, bakit sila bumabiyahe? Hindi na tumulong naman. Nahiya
sa inyo.
So, if you a dinner or two.
But that was an evolution. It just didn't happen overnight. So,
Yes.
So, imbis na barkong sinasakyan nyo, nag-aeroplano na kayo na na-sponsor.
Yeah.
Oo.
Barko, bangka.
And remember the first time we went on a trip, and then we cracked that silly joke on the air that we were going on strike. So because we knew we'd be gone for a few days, diba? Was it 3 days pa? 7 days? Yung Baguio.
And then we would get DJs from all of our provincial FM stations, and they would go on board for several days.
And they would be more than glad. They would be more than glad to board on KC Manila.
Manila eh.
Yeah, diba? So I don't know who started it. Somebody cracked the joke. We won't be around next week. We're going on strike. Actually, we're going on vacation, but we said we were going on strike. So, and it snowballed. After a while, may tumatawag na from sales. Hey, can you please stop that on strike thing? Nagpapanik yung mga advertisers, magpo-pull out na sila. Ha? Hindi, nagdidiro lang po kami. So,
it was a joke station, right?
Yeah, eventually kasi George, Bob, Teddy, the relationship kasi between, I guess, the announcers and the advertisers was very unique, di ba? Kaya nung magpapakasyon kami, mag-strike, sabi nung ayaw na namin, pull out kami. So, panic talaga yung sales noon. Sabi, huwag kayo magaganyan. But that was one. But
pwede nating recall yung time slot ninyo noon. Sino yung sign on to sign off?
Walang sign on.
Walang sign on.
Si Cholong sign on, di ba? Tapos si Hill.
6 to 9 ako eh.
6 to 9 si Willie.
Tapos si
kasabay ko eh.
Happy Louie 9 to 12.
Yun, kasunod. Tapos
12 to 3.
Si Bobby, station manager nun eh.
Si Reggie.
Si Reggie rin. Si Reggie, nagbo-board.
Si Reg tapos si Bob, di ba?
Si Reg Bob.
Si Reg Bob. Oh, si
Vic
Reggie.
was what, 9 to 12? And then Vic was 6 to 9.
Yeah, Vic was still there, no? Vic sa Balvaro.
Yeah, and then the juniors kami, we normally get stuck first at night. Kasi they syempre they were cautious about putting the juniors in to the rating slots, diba? To make sure that But here's the other anecdote. On my first day at
by the way,
wait,
ang juniors nun si Mitch, si Ray,
Andy.
at saka si Andy.
Brian.
Apat. Yes, Brian, yes.
Brian. Yeah. So ako yung when I started, ako yung unang junior, di ba? Before Brian. So
yeah,
when I started on my very first day,
sinunog mo yung kanin. Remember? Hindi namin makakalimutan yan.
Saan yun eh? Sa biyahe yun, Dab. Sa biyahe yun eh. No. The first day on board, I remember it was scary kasi, di ba? I mean, I was joining this team of not only crackpots, but really as in really number one in the industry. And then I was going on board after Mike. It was a Saturday night that my first board work was. It was Feb 22. And then, so Mike was 6 to 9. And then I said, hey, Mike, I'm going on board after you. I know, he goes. And I said, since Mike was the station manager, I said, Mike, any instructions? And then he just looks at me straight in the eye and he says, Mitch, you have 3 hours. Make sure you rate.
Ouch. Ouch.
All order.
Imagine that was very, very simple. You have 3 hours, make sure you rate. And that was underlying in everybody's mind, diba? That was the basic order for everybody. Medyo straight.
Rudy, okay ka na ba? Rudy looks very animated today.
Oo nga.
Para siyang yung layout ng pera, yung lalagay sa
Avatar. Avatar yata yung Avatar.
Ito Facebook si Rudy.
Teka, Mitch.
Mitch, George.
Kanina pa kumakatok yung yung mga scuba diver sa likod mo, Mitch.
Sorry.
Kanina pa papasukin mo.
That's my family.
Bobby, you were saying something.
Bob.
Bobby?
Yeah. Speaking of Mike, si Mike would board Saturdays 6 to 9. Once a week siya nagbo-board. I remember, ako papalit sa kanya, ako yung 9 to 12 Saturday. Ang ginagawa ko, minsan, umuwi ako ng Bicol on my day off. Lilipad ako ng aeroplano ng Thursday after my show. Babalik ako ng Sabado.
Grabe.
A couple of times, I would miss my flight going home on a Saturday night. Kasi usually ginagawa ko from the airport, diretso ako mag-board. Tatawagan ko si Mike. Mike, malilate ako. Bakit? Nandito ako sa Bicol. What? Ganyan si Mike. Ano oras ka dadating? Hindi ko alam, Mike. Naiwan pa. Bukas dadating ko. Magwawala yan si Mike.
Dapat may dala kang pasalubong, pare.
Pilinat.
Pilinat. Laing.
Pero mag-board. Ide-diretso ni Mike yan. Kasi may usapan, di ba, ang trabaho natin, pag wala ka pang kapalit, hindi ka pwede umalis.
Oo, pag-uong.
Ginagawa na, hindi umaalis si Mike. In fairness, hindi aalis yon. Kasi unang-una, meron siyang bisita, nagdadala, may pagkain siya doon, okay lang sa kanya.
Was there ever a time na binagoong nyo si Mike ng mga 8 oras?
Hindi ko na alam eh. Hindi ko maalala.
Kami,
kasi si Mike,
usually, ako na-experience ko 7 hours. Yun na yung pinakamahaba.
Ikaw ang napagong.
Sinong papalit sa'yo?
Si Wild Vic.
Si Vic, the late Vic.
I'd take over from 3 to 7, tapos 7 to 10 dapat siya. Dahil maraming commercial, so hindi pwede. So, yun. Di ba yung Philcomsen, the elevator was really shaky. Pag walang elevator, hindi naakyat si Wild. So.
15 floors. 15
Sasabihin na lang
floors.
sa akin ng tech, wala si Wild. Diretso ka hanggang 10. Okay, sige.
Tsaka sa Philcom, yung speaking of Philcom Sen, kailangan kaibigan mo yung mga gwardya. Kasi pag sign off ka, pag alas 9 ka, papatay nila yung elevator, sabihin nila sira. Pag hindi mo sila kakutsaba. Merong stasyon doon sa amin na medyo mayayabang, hindi nila binabastos nila yung mga gwardya. Ayun. Lagi sila umaakyat.
Pangalanan mo na, Bobby.
Wala na, patay na yata yung mga
Speaking of Wild Vic, he illustrated the WKC jukebox.
Ayan. Yung jokebook na yan, kumita ba kayo dyan? Sino publisher niyo dyan?
Actually, to ano eh. This was, if you will notice, was written especially for the 10th Philippine
Ad Congress. Ad Congress.
Pinamigay, giveaway namin.
Wow,
giveaway.
really to. That's why ano to collector's copy.
Yeah, a few episodes ago, mga collector yung kausap namin eh. So baka hinahunting na nila ngayon yan. May halaga na yan, Willie.
Benta mo, mga 50,000 dyan.
George, si Willie, nagbebenta on the side niyan, hindi namin alam. Malaki na kinita ni Willie.
Pero binibenta ni Willie.
May nakita kasi ako sa National Bookstore kasi may nakikita akong ganyan eh.
Si Willie nagbenta nun.
WKC? Hindi WKC.
WKC. By Hillbilly Willie nga eh, no?
Ha?
Wow, Willie
George, bira naman. Magagalit sa akin yung mga ano ko.
George.
Yeah, tapos binibenta na to.
George, nung bago lang ang KC, speaking of National Bookstore, pinapakyaw namin yung mga joke books sa National.
Yeah.
Para wala makabasa.
Yun ang... Hindi.
Material nila.
Doon namin dinadampot yung mga jokes namin. Pero mostly American jokes noong umpisa. Medyo social yung jokes namin noon. Hanggang sa naubos na namin, wala na kami mapagkunan, we had to hire 2 gag writers full-time.
Man!
Plus, we had to open the lines. Nagulat kami when we started asking listeners to send in their jokes. Ang dami pala mga siraulo sa Manila. Sa radyo, George, sa radyo, gusto nila, can I dedicate a song? Babanggitin mo yung pangalan nila. Sa amin, may plus. You share a joke and then we'll mention your name. Kaya, that's probably why it caught on. Wala pa social media noon eh. Telepono pa lang eh.
Correct.
Yan yung shout out.
Interactive.
That's why the listeners had to share their best jokes, so for them to be credited on the air, for them to be mentioned on the air.
Kasi sinasalang din namin yung mga jokes eh.
So yung DJ na nakaupo, sila namimili nung airing jokes sa time slot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Si Rudy, mahilig gumawa ng sarili niya yan.
Si Rudy yan eh. Hanggang ngayon na.
Sarili sikap yan.
I remember back then.
Marami
yun, gumagalaw na.
Yun. Pare, listen. Magkasalita si Rudy.
Quiet, everyone.
Sorry, I get dropped again. Parating nag-drop eh. Parating naman, it's always coming out na only the host can see you. Wait. Yun nakalagay sa akin. So go off. Anyway, back in the day, I would spend 3 hours in the bathroom just writing jokes.
Bakit sa bathroom?
I get the newspaper, I'd read the newspapers para updated. Then I'd concoct jokes. I remember yung nauso sa PLDT yung zero backlog.
Yeah.
That's what you call toilet humor.
So I said, from now on, PLDT is no longer
toilet humor nga yun, toilet humor.
Male, no, not entertaining male applicants. Sabi ko gano'n. Sabi, why? Because there's zero backlog. Yun.
Toilet humor nga.
Pati sa retro.
And I remember.
Maski na nasa RJ tayo eh.
Sa RJ, yes.
We do knock-knock jokes kasi most jokes are only sound-alikes eh. Homophones ba yun? It's homonyms, it's homo. Anyway, sound-alike. Like one time I went, knock-knock, who's there? I love you. I love you who? Bayang magiliw. Para sa sinanganan, I love you, puso. Sumunod yung, what's his name?
Mahuhuli ka na yan.
Or something. yung nationalist, sabi, please don't do jokes about yung national anthem. And Mike calls me, no more jokes about no political jokes, no jokes about the flag or yung mga ganun.
So yun nga ang gusto mong tanungin ko, Rudolph.
If you remember what's his name? Anyway, we'd sing along sa radio.
Senior moments, Rudy.
If you remember, I wrote something, there ought to be a law against frustrated singers posing as DJs.
Yun.
So that against frustrated singers posing as DJs. Tapos si Mike said, "Is that you, Rudy?" Sabi ko, most likely either me, Willie, or Cholo. Kasi
Cholo.
And then he goes, sabi ko, Mike, so we should stop singing. No, keep doing it. They're listening to you.
Di ba?
That's right.
Kaya si Cholo,
yun ang gusto ko itanong sana. Meron ba kayong agreement na ito bawal, itong klaseng joke na ito? O dapat dito mas marami sa ganitong klase?
Wala.
No,
self-regulation.
Dadagdag ko lang.
Unless advertiser na yung nagreklamo. There was one time.
I remember I had the joke na when you're crazy, Cindy's is the place to be. Sumulat yung Cindy's. Nagalit sila.
Yari ka.
Nasaan na sila ngayon? Nasaan na yung Cindy's ngayon?
Sarado na.
They don't understand.
Willie, sino nakaisip nung eksakto kasi nung events nung panahon na yun, especially 1986 na revolusyon.
Okay.
Sino nakaisip nung corny? Ang tagal umalingaw-ngaw noon. Lahat ng jeep yata yun na naririnig ko. Who was it?
I like that.
Mga anak ko yung mga anak ko gumawa ng jingle yung Cindy, Tracy, pati yung corny.
Pero una kami naman si Dennis. Dalaw ni Dennis yung corny. Ganun.
Alam mo, Bob, yung mga ganon.
You know how this started? Yung Smile Radio. One day before our broadcast, when we moved to KC, one day before, we had a meeting, brainstorming. Sabi ni Mike. So we were all quiet. Sabi niya, so what do we do? What do we, format natin? Ganon. Tapos we were all quiet and I was just looking at him, smiling. Sabi niya, I like this guy. He's always smiling. Tapos sabi niya, I got it. Smile Radio. Why do we call ourselves Smile Radio? And then yun. Sabi niya, okay, Smile Radio. And then because Smile Radio, we started buying joke books. We started, reading up, sourcing jokes and then we'd air them.
Marami kaming nilalampun. Hindi lang advertiser, pati mga tao. But a lot of them took it in stride kasi alam nila joke station kami. Wala naman na halos. Actually, wala akong naalala na pipikot mga jokes namin. Especially during that time, 85, 86, kasagsagan ng people power yon. Wala pang social media noon. This was a way of venting their ire on the administration by cracking jokes.
At saka anong tawag mo sa papatol sa loko-loko?
Yun na nga eh.
Willie? Tatawag mo sa?
Ang tawag mo sa papatol sa loko-loko?
Mas loko-loko.
Actually, dati kasi may nagtanong. Dati may nagtanong nga sa akin in a forum. Why do you think Casey was very popular, especially during those times, yung mga 80s? Sabi ko, yung personal analysis ko lang, we were in so much turmoil that time, daming anger and angst, and Casey provided the lighter side of life.
Dapat kasama ka namin, George.
Ang problema, hindi naman niyo ako tinanggap, buwisit.
It was, George, tama ka, George. It was a way of releasing their pent-up emotions.
Ang ganda eh. It was so timely talaga. Yung talagang perfect timing eh. Ang hindi lang talaga tama sa ginawa nyo, hindi nyo ako tinanggap eh.
Ayaw kasi ni Butch ka na eh.
George, we repent. We repent, George.
Yeah. Boysen o Dutch boy? We repent.
It's called Save Their Father.
General.
No, whether in
Hoy!
good times or bad times, whether in
Yes, sir.
turmoil or pandemic, di ba? Humor will always be a part. Everybody listens to the radio for fun, for companionship, not for music. Why? Especially now, because music can be accessed on your phone, Spotify. Your entire playlist can be accessed whenever you want to hear it. But on radio it's different. They want to hear. They want to be humored. They want to be entertained. They want to be accompanied. They want to have fun with somebody. Because the music, let's face it, all of the radio stations play
the same
80% the same music. The same music. 80%. 20% nag-iiba-iba sila depending on their niche, depending on their target audience. But yung music na yun pwedeng ma-access from from a variety of sources which was not available at the time before. Now, so the more it is important to be focused on the audience and to provide that kind of entertainment and value.
You know, it's a testimonial to that, ano. A lot of our viewers right now, no, yung mga dati hindi naman natin viewers to. All of a sudden, because of the KC guys, biglang nagsalihan. Maybe they're really hungry for humor and seeing you guys, no, and being disappointed seeing you guys. By the way, I just want to shout out kay Scott McLean in Hong Kong. He's the biggest sound system supplier in Hong Kong. I usually work with him when we do concerts in Hong Kong. Hello, Scott. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Anyway,
hi, Scott. You have an opening, Scott?
General, you were saying something.
Ano sinasabi ko? No,
bata mo naman mga senior mo.
Yung jokes talaga from the start. I speaking from a listener na naging part of this, parang when I got in, feeling ko very big shoes to fill in kasi yun pinasukan ko eh. So I really had to come up with all the jokes and everything. And ang hirap din eh. Ang hirap din na 3 hours kang
on board.
Parang puro tawa ka lang ng tawa. After 3 hours, parang yung zombie, parang wala na, ayoko na.
Oh yeah, it really very draining. It's draining, no? Kaya ba ganyan na itsura mo ngayon?
Oh, no.
George, ito magandang tanong. Halimbawa, hindi pa nangyari yung KC noon. At may makaisip na nanyan ngayon sa ganitong era na hindi ba lahat ng radio stations ngayon meron na ring Facebook Live or YouTube. Ano kaya? Mag-click kaya yun ngayon? Paano?
Kung kasama itong mga to, palagay ko mag-click. No, it's not because na magkakaharap tayo, no? Kaya lang iba eh. You know, when you're cracking jokes, it's not only the joke, it's the timing of the joke.
The delivery.
Oo eh. Iba yun eh. Di ba? Ayun.
Kasi kahit kumisang corny, basta yung timing, di ba? Yung delivery, punchline.
Ayan, the guys
minsan, dapat corny lagi. Kasi bahala ka sumakay eh. Iba-iba rin ang level ng pagtanggap ng tao eh. May mga tao na huling-huli na sa tawa pero humahabol pa ng tawa, di ba? Yun yung mga nakakatawa sa lahat eh.
At ang
delayed reaction.
Yeah, delayed reaction. And that in itself is funny. Kaya na-appreciate tuloy yung ganito. Yung effort pa lang is notable as it is.
Yung nakikinig kayo, may kasama ka, tapos tawanan kayong ganyan, no? Si Willie, tawa na, ganyan. Tapos biglang yung katabi mo, after a few seconds, ano daw?
Nakatatawa.
Sila pasagutin natin yung mga DJs ng KC. Ano sa tingin nyo kung mangyari yan ngayon sa era na ito?
Pwede. Dapat mangyari pa rin.
No. Ako
but it has to be evolved. It has to be technologically evolved also.
Kasi mayroon ng Facebook.
Oh.
No, ako I have a slightly different point of view. baka hindi mag-work in this era simply because current hindi marunong pumreno ang mga ngayon, 'di ba, ang mga bata, most people hindi kasi kami when we were cracking our jokes, we knew when to stop or we knew what not to talk about or what not to joke about, 'di ba? The difference between being funny or humorous and being offensive na. Hindi kami nag-board. Ngayon, just for the sake of being different, a lot of people just blurt their minds out, di ba? In the feeling funny, but they're not because they're already offensive or parang ako, that's just me. I think if it's going to work today, tama si George, you'd still need a bunch of guys who think, who make it look easy. Yes. But in reality, there are so many aspects that we have to maintain and to kumbaga to control at the same time, di ba? It looks fluid, it looks funny, it looks spontaneous, pero ang daming preparation, di ba? Like Willie, for example, in the morning when he'd go on board with two characters, di ba? Si Stink and si Animal. Before he does his bit, before they turn mics on, they kind of agree where they're headed, di ba? Willie, ito ganito gagawin natin. And then alam nila, this is live, they're looking at each other and they know exactly when to release the call sign. Kasi pag nag-a-adlib, di ba? Pare, alam niyo yan, mag-a-adlib ka sa kanta, kailangan pag bitaw mo ng call sign, eksakto dapat lyrics na. Mahirap yan kung mag-isa ka. Lalo pa yung ginagawa ng mga to, di ba? Tatlo kayo or apat kayo, then you have to control, di ba? And then the timing, and then kailangan pag bitaw niyan, eksakto dapat as if fun. So I guess it can be done, but people have the new generation has to know when to rein in. Yeah. There are a few announcers who came after us, and some who even passed through the station, who did not know how to rein in and stop, di ba? Kaya napapaaway, di ba? And they get fired and they get thrown from one station to another. Yes, they get popular because they're controversial. But controversies can only go so far, di ba? It can't.
Precisely.
Hindi makapreno.
That's where you separate the professionals from the wannabes, di ba? Importante yun eh. You really have to be a professional. Kagaya nga sabi mo si Willie, really yung show prep niya, hindi lang show prep, but during the program, they talk about it while the song is playing. And that's a very difficult thing to do, aside from playing your 18 minutes of commercials.
Yeah. And you have to remember, George, diba, each commercial was on a cart.
Oh.
And you'd have to put it in at the exact time.
Yes.
And take it out and put it back on the rack. So each stop set, yung mga naranasan namin, 10 to 15 commercials. And then you'd have to cue the records on vinyl.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to answer the phone. And then when they introduce the beeper, you have to look at the beeper. So, tama si Willie. Parang performance talaga.
Yeah. No, George, Bob, and Teddy. Remember, at WKC before, at the Philcom Sense studio at least, we had the 10 lang yung, di ba? Rotary yung console natin, yung board namin, 10 channels.
10 knobs.
10 knobs. Rotary, pihit, malalaking knobs. Pero isipin mo, so you had toggle switches between audition and program, but you had only 10 controls. We had 6 cart machines, 1 cassette deck, 2 turntables, 4 microphones. Isipin mo yung AD noon, no? Tapos, di ba, yung apat na cart machine pa lang, magic yun kasi 6 na cart machine pala. The 6 cart machines had to be shared among 4 inputs. So meron kang, was it, tama ba? 7, 8 machines.
8 cart machines.
Hindi mo sinama yung mga CD player, pati yung sampler ko.
CD. Ano ko nagka-CD player? May sampler pa, tapos may keyboard pa sa harap. Kasi,
keyboard.
Sabi ko na may dala ka pa musical instrument eh.
Nakaiwan yun. Kami yung nagpauso ng may bumili yan, di ba? Yung CZ1, yung kaso na sampler, parang that's aside from all the other sound effects, di ba? So imagine, yung ani, tama 8 kasi hati eh, yung A at saka B ko lagi nakaabang yung laugh tracks no, at saka yung stinger. Tapos 6 na yung commercials. Imagine all of those inputs you have to squeeze into 10. Tapos biglang sasagot ka pa ng telepono, tapos minsan tatawag pa yung master control booth kasi niraradyohan ka pala ni Buma kasi may ginawa ka pa yung mali o kakailangan ka. You really don't have time. Parang walang automation, di ba? Your pinakapahinga is something like 2 minutes while the song is going on. And you know if one of us was 2 minutes. You'd know if one of us was had to go to the bathroom. Alam mo yun pag nagbanyo, maririnig mo yung rapper's delight. Di ba?
Yung pala
yung rapper's delight, yung 15 minutes yun eh. Kasi di ba? Uy!
Live dance ni Sonia Belolo.
Yan.
Ayun, isa pa yun.
9 minutes.
Di ba? Kasi pag sumalang...
Alam mo, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob.
Pagkatapos mo mag-board noon, pagod na pagod talaga kami.
I can imagine.
Pero hindi lang yon. Hindi lang yon. After that, we would still sit and write our jokes nung wala pa kaming gag writers. We would write our own jokes or we would make a research, go to National, buy books. Tapos magsa-sales pa kami mag-service pa kami nila Willie. Magsa-sales pa kami. Magsa-sales kami si Reggie, si Willie, ako si Louie. I had to drop out of law school because of that. Kasi it was a full-time job.
Kasalanan pa natin.
Kasalanan ninyo.
Nilaglag mo pa yung stasyon.
Sarap pa nga nun eh.
Pero kasi halos, alam mo, halos doon na kami nakatira. Doon kami natutulog.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we would entertain visitors kasi ang laki ng booth namin. Ang daming pumupunta doon. Siyempre, chika ka sa mga estudyante. Interviews and everything.
And then every time you'd meet somebody, uy, taga WKC, joke naman, no? Sige na, joke.
Joke.
Sample naman, joke.
Sample.
Sarap batukan. Joke ka dyan.
Pero after all this, alam mo, like I said, it starts and ends with fun. Nag-enjoy lang kami and we were riding the tide, ika nga.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We were just riding the tide, going with the flow. Until such time, syempre, hindi naman pwedeng tumagal ito. There was a time, medyo lumalabas na sa tenga namin yung mga jokes.
Riding the tide.
May lumabas na, really eh.
Sa ibang agency, we were surfing the breeze.
Yung lumabas nga yung question why did the station change format? Afterwards,
it was a business decision. It was not our decision.
Remember that it was a timing. The timing was nagkaroon ng crisis noon, Asian crisis.
Yeah,
right before.
There was an Asian crisis, and for maybe 1 or 2 years, everybody was hurting, and everybody was saying there's something wrong with us, or we gotta change our style if we want to move. But looking back, it never did. In fact, the station now is back to the old masa format.
Yeah.
Willie?
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a business decision.
Yes.
We were getting to be top heavy. We were one of the highest paid group of announcers in the industry. And tama si Willie, related to the Asian crisis, management wanted to cut down on costs. And it was their way of saying masyado na kayong mahal. We can do something that's more cost effective according to them, which never actually materialized.
And then what happened?
Wala
na lang kayo? Tinapon na lang kayo afterwards?
Yeah, we were still there.
Okay.
The three of us were assistant vice presidents. I was in charge of the Luzon stations. Bobby was in charge of the Metro Manila operations, AM and FM. And then Cholo was in charge of the provincial station.
Baguio.
So we had other chores aside from going on boards, Casey. In fact, when the format changed, Bobby took me off the air because I was so
I'm sure hindi
representative
handsome.
of the old culture.
Ano, you were so willing to me. Bago ko sinapawan. You were so what?
Ano yung sinabi mo pa?
You were taken off the air by Bobby because?
Because I was so,
you were so handsome.
I was so representative of the old format.
Okay.
Identified ka masyado.
Identified ako masyado. But nothing changed actually. Bob was so gracious enough not to cut the lifeline. But I was in charge of Luzon operations of our FM stations, and I was in charge also of the entire network FM operations. What do you call that? Production and marketing.
Yes, marketing, packaging,
Marketing.
Aside from being a disc jockey, I was just taken off as a disc jockey.
Yeah.
But I was working with network and Bob and the whole group all at the same time.
And Bob, that was when the fun was starting to fade.
Yeah.
Parang masyadong management orient. Trabaho na to, seryosong management.
It's starting to eat.
Wala na yung fun.
Wala
na yung fun side of it.
Okay, a lot of DJs are listening right now, no? Yung young DJs. And, every time they message me, even before, ang tinatanong nila yung, what comes after radio? Like, I was in radio before, and now I'm doing something else, no? So maybe it would be a good time for you guys to somehow tell our DJs and our audience, what's life after radio? Let's start with Bobby. Bob?
Family.
Family.
Family is always there to back you up, to go to. That's really, iba pag may pamilya. Ask Willie, he has how many grandchildren? So
how many families?
Ask Mitch.
How many families?
Ask Rudy. How many families? How many grandchildren? Joke.
So what do you do now,
seriously.
What do you do now?
Partly radio sales and insurance advisor for Sun Life.
Okay. I see. So you still do radio sales?
Radio sales, yes.
Ayun. What about si Mitch? So what do you do now? Life after radio? Are you still involved in radio?
You just listen to the commercials.
Yeah, I was lucky enough na sometime towards the end of my career with KC, it opened up also inroads to the advertising agencies to that side of the world, diba? So I still do voicing for continuity. I did continuity announcing for different TV networks, commercials, TV commercials, AVPs. I still do that, live voiceovers. But of course, over the years, you still have to improve on yourself. So I got into underwater photography, underwater videography. Then I got into directing. So I direct na rin, live staging and some video materials if need be, diba? But
sana may innovation ka, underwater voiceovers.
Sinubukan ko yun. Kaso lang hirap eh. Limitado yung audience mo.
Puro isda.
It's a fishy job. That sounds really fishy.
Kung si Aquaman ginagawa yun di kaya mo rin.
Kalakas sa hangin yun, man. No. But yeah, that's for me that's kahit paano pa rin, the microphone still is an important part of my life. Yun lang yung pagiging live. When I switched to live staging, to voicing for live events and corporate and doing corporate events even as director, yung buhay mo as a disc jockey, as an announcer on radio, it suddenly comes back. Kasi sa radio, pare, unang-una, bawal ang gap. Diba? You have to, your program has to be well thought of and well prepared, and it has to be creative to be interesting to an audience that you don't see. Same thing, diba? Sa live, medyo lamang ka, you get to see, but if you make a mistake, that's it, diba? You can't go back and you can't say take two and stuff like that. But that's ano. Buhay pa rin kahit paano, surviving, diba? But tama si Bob, family's always been there.
How many kids do you have?
I have 5, but yeah, then the question of how many families was that? Minsan kasi, but then that's a longer story. Sabi nga ni Mike, you lost your job, you lost your car, what did you lose next? And then I didn't say, anyway, but I have 5 kids, I have 2 grandchildren, and they keep me focused. So
very nice.
At least masaya.
Okay, let's go to Hill.
Thanks.
Family's always been there. Yeah. Had a business, still have a business, a family business. That's not doing pretty well because of the pandemic. It's in construction, design and construction. I've tried teaching Chinese students English online.
Oh, okay.
And then there are some clients who still get me for live hosting, doing some shows, some audiovisuals, production, and basically that's it. Fixing the house.
Would you go back to radio? Would you go back to radio if given the chance?
I dream of that day when it would be my last hurrah.
Yeah.
I still got much to give. I think I can give it one last shot. No, I know I can, but I know that there's still. I'm a very competitive person. And every time I listen to the radio, there are a lot of things that are not being done right. Not done right, but that could be done better.
Better, yes,
better.
That's right.
Better. Yes, better.
Yeah,
But I see
with
a
the
lot
technology.
of mistakes. Yes, no, not just with technology, but the way presenters do their job. Just plain English. Even English is mali. And
It's horrendous.
Yes. Somehow it gets to be acceptable and becomes the norm. But that's okay. But music, technology, it can be improved. Pero I know I'm raring for that one last opportunity. But on the side, I got 6 kids, same wife, 15 grandchildren that I adore.
What? 15 grandchildren?
Yes. I got 6 kids.
My goodness.
All of them were my 6 kids were born the height of radio. They were my entertainment.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that he goes on board, he sells, he manages several stations, and he still gets a chance to make kids.
Yeah, and take care of them.
That's the stress of it, George.
That's
the stress.
Yeah,
George.
Yeah, Bob.
That was his way of de-stressing.
Yeah.
Actually, actually, it's
at least only one part of his body is stressed when that happens, right?
It's the one single thing that kept me sane. The other half is insanity.
The world's only living brain donor.
What about you remember? All right.
General.
All the others are dead, pare.
What about General? So is there life after radio?
Oh yeah, actually, radio opened a lot of doors for me. I started teaching English in the call center industry. Did that for several years. Became an officer. My wife and I, after we did corporate, we're doing voiceover work. We're doing dubbing, telenovelas, Korean novelas to English, and lately Tagalog. So I have four kids. We have 4 kids. Beng and I have. My wife Beng used to be with Radio Romance. She was Maxine. So we have 4 kids who are also into dubbing and into voiceover. So it's a family of voiceovers right now, and we all do it from the house. We have a small studio here, and we can do that. Also do live events and all that. And then we have this little place in Zambales that we've been developing for the last several years, and so it's actually open for Airbnb. So that's what we do. Now it just so happens that suerte we can actually record from that place also.
Oh, okay.
So after we've been very fortunate. We were blessed with we're given these blessings. So and right now, because of the pandemic, our work it just revolves here sa bahay. And funny because naka-schedule yun recording. My daughter will have a recording. I'll save yung studio ganito from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Meron akong podcast and all that. So it's been good so far. Hopefully if I can find a radio station in Subic, maybe. Why not? Diba? Closer to the farm. But lately we've been shuttling back and forth Quezon City and Zambales. That's what we've been busy with. So if they're worried about, the new guys, if they're worried about if there's life after radio, of course, you start with a family, just like everybody else. We're not saying you should get married and all that, but
just start a family.
Start a family or two, get it from.
Parang sagot sa beauty contest. Start my family.
Ganun yun eh. Asa na si Rudy?
Okay naman. So far.
Napag-usapan ng family, nagtago.
Restarting.
George.
Yeah, Bob.
You were asking if we'd like to do this again, or you think it will click? Honestly, when we started KC, we never thought it would click. We just did it. So, in answer to your question, you think this will click again? We don't know. We just have to do it again.
And give it our best
Maybe
shot.
this time kasama ka na, George.
Ay, salamat. Diba?
Tama na rin natin dapat.
Wala na 9 months training.
Without pay.
Siguro kailangan
Libre t-shirt.
yung fun talaga yung susi dyan, fun.
Hold it up, Andy. Again, hold up the t-shirt. Yan naman.
Yung,
That's Bob. That's Mike. Saan si Bob? That's me over here.
Galing.
That's me.
That's a t-shirt we got when we won the Bibato Basketball Championship sponsored by San Miguel.
Nanalo pa kayo ng Bibato ba? Talaga?
Oo.
Yeah.
Oo.
Kayo naglaro?
Champion kami sa Bibato.
Kayo naglaro?
Iba-iba.
RMN.
Si Mike yung coach.
I played.
Si Mike
kami nun eh. Nakatatlong team eh. Nag-GMA ako, nag-ABC 5 ako, tsaka vintage. Puro talo yun.
Tinalo namin yung, ano ba tinalo natin? ABS-CBN? ABS-CBN, tinalo namin.
Sila Danny Buena pa yan.
Yeah.
Sila Vic Lima yata.
Si Vic Lima, nandun.
Si Vic De Leon Lima.
Yeah.
Bobby, you were saying just give it a shot, ganyan, no? What do you think are the chances that you're going to be able to get another radio station at this time? Paano, isipin mo, I teach, no? I teach a lot of kids also sa John Robert Powers. And every time we go inside the car, the first thing they say is, does anyone have Spotify? They don't even know what FM is.
Yeah.
Diba?
That's right.
Spotify
Alam mo, George,
yeah.
The advantage now is that there's so many forms of media. You mentioned Spotify. It can be on Spotify. It can be on Facebook Live. It can be a podcast. It can be on regular traditional FM radio. With the advent of social media, mas mapapalaganap nga yung format na ito eh. And there's more interaction. Kami nun, would you believe when we started, Casey, wala kaming telepono sa booth. Remember that, Willie?
Yeah.
We didn't have a booth. Wala kaming linya.
Kailangan
wala
lumabas
lang.
pa.
Putol yung linya dun sa booth. So we didn't know what the reaction of our listeners would be. So we just started cracking jokes. Hindi namin alam. Nung nagkaroon na kami ng linya, that's when we found out a deluge of jokesters who were wanting to contribute their own jokes on the. We were really flooded with so many jokesters. Tawag namin doon mga jokesters.
China-challenge nila kayo eh. Diba?
Yeah. Lalo na siguro ngayon, may social media.
Yeah. Here's a suggestion. Do a podcast.
Yeah, do a podcast.
Kaya lang, walang music pag podcast. Yun yung problema.
At nag-request nito yung anak yata ni Mitch eh.
No.
Si Miguel Amuro.
Wala, anak ni Mitch. Bigya.
Alam mo,
ayaw mo aminin.
Bob, it has to be a combination of various media.
Yeah.
Look, kailangan nandun pa rin yung traditional media. Tingnan mo ang ABS, nung nawala ang ABS, nag-ano sila, di ba? Marami silang alternative. Pero ngayon na bumalik na sila, ang dami pa rin nag-like, di ba? Iba pa rin na may traditional media.
Yeah. Look,
Is this your phone number?
Yeah, that was our old phone number.
631.
Let's face it, radio
631-5877.
Radio is dwindling fast. But sa Pilipinas, because of internet and so on, hindi pa kasing bilis mawawala, unlike other countries. That is why the need to capture the dwindling radio market is so huge. It must be given serious thought. It cannot be allowed to fade away just like that.
You know,
it will into oblivion. It will disappear.
But you know, that's a very
the
good point.
remaining radio listeners are old, and some are young also. But because of the onset of technology, it's fast dwindling. That's why kailangan seryosohin talaga yung natitirang mga iyon.
Which brings me to this. What is the number one station now? No, AM and FM. It's DWWW. Owned by the Hanois also, no?
Yeah.
It's the number one radio station overall, right? No?
Lagot ka kay Mike. Lagot ka kay Mike Enriquez.
What is their no, sila Mike, number one yung slot nila, no? But overall, it's WWW. And it's simply because, what did they do? Music. No? Which brings me to that question. What do you think of an oldies format, which we don't find anymore?
Retro.
Define retro was a good format.
Yeah.
Kulang lang it was just the mix, the chemistry. May kulang eh, and the support. Alam mo, kaya siguro nagde-dwindle na yung radio. Kulang ng content.
Yeah.
It's still content at the end of the day. During our in jokes maybe magke-click ulit, no? We don't know. As I said, we don't know. We just have to launch it. Just launch it.
It's a combination of everything, you know. Kasi jokes are still prevalent now. There are a lot of FM stations who do jokes.
Oh, so many politicians are jokes.
Yeah.
Let's look at Congress.
So it's
exactly.
It's the right chemistry of signal, music, and jocks. And the jocks who provide information, who provide fun,
the personality,
humor, and personality. Yeah, it's a combination of these three things. It cannot be one or the other.
You know what's funny? Not so long ago, somebody posted, was it on Facebook or Twitter? This kid was saying, he was wishing now that there was some free form of Spotify that would allow him to listen to music without having to use his cell phone or use data. And the answer was, FM radio po tawag dyan. I got amazed. 2 weeks ago, my kids were in the house. Their children, my grandkids were here, and then I asked Anna, and I asked Anna's the mom of one of my grandkids, and I asked Rasban Milo, and I said, I played a song for my grandson. I played Name Game. I said, di ba, tayo, kid song, I play Name Game. Di ba? Come on, everybody. You know what? Funny. Anna's what? How old's Anna? About 25? None of the kids knew what Name Game was. They didn't even know the song. They said it's the first time we're hearing that. So it could be something. If we reintroduce radio now, it could be something new to everybody else. It's a new big animal all of a sudden, diba? You don't have you don't have to resurrect it because it's dead, but it's just something so new that diba? It's a reintroduction of something that has always been there, diba? Parang ganun. Imagine they don't know what Name Game is. Huh? They don't know what FM radio is. Parang ganun. Puro Spotify na lang sila tsaka FB Live, di ba?
Yes, ganun, yes.
Well, maybe I would call that in business parlance the blue ocean strategy. Look for a vacuum, di ba? Which is not being served. Di ba?
Sandali, lalim.
Yan, nasa ocean na tayo eh.
Vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, as against the red
Kaya
ocean.
may scuba gear si Mitch nasa likod.
Yun eh. Ayaw mo talaga pansinin yung mga nasa likod mo.
Ako yun eh.
Ang galing. Anyway, yun ang ano dun eh. No? Yung radio probably is still the most accessible media. No? Form of media.
Right. That's
diba?
true, George.
Oo eh.
In the Philippines especially.
Yeah. Tito Encarnacion, sales guy, no, always says that radio is still it. If you want to go to the far-reaching areas, radio eh. Diba? And that's probably the reason why yung 774, yung WWW is number 1. Pag nakikinig ako dun, ano naririnig ko? Somebody from Batangas, Bulacan, Pampanga, they all listen. No? And that's a music station on AM, which was, kumbaga, no, you can't even imagine a music station on AM. No? But they were able to somehow push it. So where's Baby Michael, according to Marianne?
Hinahanap sa Mike Enriquez.
Mike has a previous engagement.
Yeah.
Mike would, I talked to him, he would have wanted. Today he was really excited to join us, but unfortunately, he had a previous appointment he couldn't back away from.
Maybe one of these days in the future, maybe we could have you guys back together with Mike.
Next week?
Why not?
Week?
If Mike is available, why not? Diba? And hopefully, Happy Louie will be back from Area 51. What is he doing there at Area 51? He wants to have radioactivity or something?
I think he's visiting in-laws.
Nevada. He's in Nevada.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, he had a picture.
Vegas. He's in Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, in Vegas. Anyway,
si Brian din, pwede, from Canada.
Yeah. Si Brian. No? Brian, by the way, is Big Buddy Brian in your station, right? But he was Brian Banty.
Dr. Buddy Brian.
The Ayatollah of rock and roller.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Casey. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Bob Novales.
Bye.
And here we go. Thank you very much, mga disc jokers, legends all. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Thanks for being with us today and hoping makita namin kayo uli in future episodes and elsewhere.
Radio station.
In a radio station too. Yun. Mga kaibigan, thank you for joining us dun sa aming tete-a-tete with the jokers. And keep safe, everyone. Maraming salamat.
Till next week, we've got a lot of surprises in the upcoming episodes, so don't you dare miss it. And, of course, tell your friends all about the Boomers Banquet. Thank you. Good night. God bless. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloria.